We are not Sports Censor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Debate Amongst Friends. I am the Professor John Gotti. My co-host over here is Doc Leesner, the podcasting beast, and we're ready to provide you with another fun edition of sports news, analysis, and the reads. Take me out to the ball game. Pie me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. But don't you dare swing 3 up on count up 7. Doc, this has been the big news all day today in the MLB, Major League Baseball, for those that don't know what that acronym means, that an unwritten rule was violated. And we're using unwritten rule in quotations, folks. The Doc, Chris Woodward, was heated because Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a grand slam up on the count 3-0. And the baseball world and the casual sports world are going insane. Doc, what was your thoughts when you found out about the story?
I mean, my initial thoughts were to find the quote-unquote unwritten rules like I did prior to we started this this segment here. And again, we play a different sport. You know, we know that when we are, let's say football, for example. When I'm playing Madden, I'm blowing the team out. Or if I'm playing NCAA in the past, we'll go with NCAA because I think that's a better example.
Yeah.
If you were to try and run up the score in NCAA for Xbox or Xbox 360, you would actually get a penalty for continuing to not score, but if you continue to pass.
Yes.
And you were up by more than 4 scores, I believe. So you would get a penalty for running up the score.
Yeah, it's essentially unsportsmanlike conduct.
No, I mean, not a flag.
No.
It wouldn't be a flag. And I mean, it's just the points that would allow you to upgrade and all that stuff. You would get negative 25 points.
Gotcha.
In Madden, I think Charles Davis says something like, I'm surprised they're still passing. You know, they're up big, with, little time on the clock. Now they're just trying to run up the score.
Yep.
Unwritten rules, we talked about it yesterday. Basketball, the clock is running out. The game is won. You don't take a final shot to try and increase the score.
Yep. Or to increase your own stats.
Or increase your own stats, which I think might have happened with maybe Chris Paul or somebody a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it wasn't Chris Paul. It was someone else. Yeah, it was someone else.
Take a shot, and I think they were fouled or something stupid happened.
Evan Turner,
that's who it was. But in baseball, you're up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pitch, a sweet pitch.
Yep.
I mean, this pitch is right down the alley.
Right there is sweet.
And it's you're going to get walked or you're going to get a strike. Why not swing and take this?
Yeah.
I don't understand why everybody's so mad. I'm not understanding the unwritten rule about this. I think is it because he grand slammed? They were going to score anyway.
I think the fact was, he was going to score. They was going to score anyway. Let's get that out the way, folks. It was going to become 8-0 anyway. Period. So let's get that out the way. That's one.
So hold on. So had he popped out, if it was a fly out,
mm-hmm.
would we be still talking about this?
No. And I'm so glad that you use that analogy, because my other part is, well, what if he decided to go for the walk and they scored and they got out the inning? We have seen in baseball, folks, teams come back from being down big.
Exactly.
This has happened.
Exactly.
And you know what we'll be talking about instead? Man, how come they didn't stay aggressive? How come they didn't put the foot on the gas? How come they didn't keep going? How come they didn't, do all this and do all that? And now they become the laughing stock.
No, that's facts. They're
So
for the rest of the year.
So in this scenario, you can't have your cake and eat it, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You just can't. It's not fair.
No,
it's not fair.
You can't. No, that's absolutely facts, and that's why I'm trying to understand. Like, they're up. You know, if the pitcher's back behind 3-0, you know that fourth pitch is going to be a strike.
Exactly. Like, you know, they need that strike. They need to try to get out this inning. We have seen pitchers give up 10 runs in an inning. Like, all they want to do is get out of there. But if they're behind on the count, they're trying to get that first strike because nothing else is working, or the batter's box is smaller than it needs to be.
Right.
Like, it's all these different variables that no one's really considering. Like, is it unsportsmanlike? Not really. And here's why. You've been taught to swing.
Right.
You've been taught to try to get on base. This is what you worked your entire life for. Why would you not swing? Now you just made a highlight. You got a grand slam. I believe it was his first grand slam, actually.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, because I didn't see the tweet when it first came out, but I see that LeBron, the King James, says, man, that was bogus as hell. Come on, man. I don't know if that was in support of the home run or against the home run.
It doesn't matter.
But most of the people said keep swinging, keep playing
just
hard.
Keep swinging.
I mean, that's on the pitcher, and this goes back to what Bill Belichick used to say: "Do your job. Like, we're going to keep scoring."
Exactly.
We're going to keep scoring.
It's as Cam Newton said: "You want to stop me from dancing in the end zone? Stop me from scoring.
Stop me from scoring." And I just don't. Yeah, I don't understand what rule or why that would even come to play where we're playing baseball.
It's just the pitcher being butthurt about it. And of course, we have been fiending for stories in sports that they are clinging on to everything. I mean, despite the fact that no one's talking about how much a lot of these pitchers, especially those Boston Red Sox, have been pitching awful so far this year. No one's talking about that, but we're going to talk about this?
No, we don't want to talk about the Red Sox.
I'm just about like pitching in general in the MLB. Well, have been, I mean, and they're trying to get their groove, and I understand that too, but like it's been so, if we're going to be honest.
No, I get it. But no, I believe that this is a situation where let the guys play.
Just let them play. Yeah, just let them play. Yeah. Because the situation should be completely different if he allowed the walk, they got out the inning, and then something magical started to happen.
Yeah, it's happened before.
I mean, now who's the dummy now?
Right.
Like, stop it, folks. Stop it. Like, I understand from a sportsmanship standpoint, but at the same time, I mean, you just got to swing. I mean,
but at the same time,
it was the 8th inning. I understand, like, the game's almost over, but we've seen teams score. Even score, like a dozen points in like the 8th inning, the 9th inning. Like, these things can happen. Anything is possible. Like, it can happen, folks.
Yeah.
So no, this is just the media trying to grab onto everything. Like, this has happened before. This isn't the first time it's happened. This isn't going to be the last. That's all I got to say about that.
So I'm curious what they're trying to say the rule is. Like, so he should have just not swung, period.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest
either he shouldn't have swung or he shouldn't have swung to actually hit the ball.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
Which is why I say these are unwritten rules. They should never be written down.
But see, that's the problem, because people are saying here and look, former pitcher, it says here, and he's an analyst, he said, the thing is, I'm old enough to know that I grew up in a game that a lot of older guys had power and they would tell you how to act and what to do.
Yep.
But he said, unwritten rules only work if everyone knows the unwritten rules.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's like, I understand that it's supposed to be not written, but it's like, if nobody knows the unwritten rules, especially among the young guys, that decision to take a swing is off limits. Like, it's just like you're gonna just play baseball.
It's a non-issue. That's really, at the end of the day, it's just a non-issue.
Because the thing is, and this is what it says, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying before, or what you were saying earlier. It's like, had he hit a 1-0 or a 2-0 fastball, we wouldn't even have cared.
Nope.
But the fact that he hit a 3-0, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe he took that swing. Like, who does he think he is? I am.
All I'm saying is, where's the Rangers manager coming out there to help, calm this pitcher down? Or at least make a switch or something. Like where was he?
I have no idea. Maybe he was in the same place that, the former owner of EA Sports is. He's gone.
And on that note, folks, we'll be right back with more debate amongst friends right after this.
And speaking of EA, John Gotti, that professor right over there, sent a video. If you don't follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all of the social media platforms under Debate Amongst Friends and Gaming Amongst Friends, but posted the death of EA, which, if you don't know, that's Electronic Arts, the creators of games such as Madden, NBA Live, Fight Night.
Tiger Woods, PGA.
Yeah, which they've had a great number
FIFA.
of games. Street, NBA Street.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a lot of different things. But the death of EA is on YouTube. And it
also give a big follow and big shout outs to Soft Drinks TV, actually, who is actually the creator of the video. Make sure you check out his content. He has some incredible stuff. Once again, that's Soft Drinks TV.
They really killed it, and I liked how they included people who genuinely love and play these games to this day. So it's like, I think it was Eric Mayweather, I believe, is one of the guys that's on the video. And it was funny because I literally had just watched his video on Madden 21 and 2K and NBA 2K, even though it's not an EA game, but I had just watched his videos, and to hear him talking about how Madden has fallen off so badly, it's pretty sad. Like, the whole video is sad. Like, it's a somber, sad, depressing, it's just
culmination of a lot of issues due to businessmen wanting to do things for a business sense and not so much for the consumers.
Only over the last couple of years,
once the microtransaction became such a huge craze.
And you know what I think? And maybe I didn't realize what it was, because it seems as though they started with FIFA.
Yes.
Because I don't really remember Madden Ultimate Team coming to Madden until the last 4 or 5 years. I remember we had a conversation about it, and I call it today, of course, the Pokemon of Madden. But it's pretty much the Pokemon of Electronic Arts. It's like, oh my God, you got to collect them all. You got to collect the best cards. Only thing about it is everybody who has money, or because it's not really a work ethic. It's like, you're not really working for this. You might just pay for these special packs. You might complete a challenge here and there, but you're not grinding as we do in certain games. You're not farming for specific players. You know what I mean? Like, it would be different if they were actually farming for specific players. Oh, I have to play this particular challenge over and over to get this player. But it's like, no, I can just buy this pack. I can buy that pack. I can just keep buying packs until I get that gold or whatever color Michael
Yep.
Vick, or that gold or whatever color Bo Jackson. And so it's like it's taking fantasy football historically and putting a price tag on it for people to play it virtually. And I think that's why I love the EFL so much. And that's because it's the complete opposite. Like the complete opposite. It kind of takes us back to where there were no abilities, there is no ultimate players. It's like here it is, skill versus skill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But they and it's actually pretty hilarious. But so within the video, they mentioned that Madden tournament that we talked about a few months
I
back.
saw it. Joke, yeah, I saw it on there,
Yep.
and I was laughing because I was like, "Yo, it's facts. He didn't have to complete one pass," and I'm like, "That's not skill. That's poor game development." Like you've seen it. I mean, you watched EFL games where people who are 50s, 60s, low 70 players playing just like they're 80, 90.
Yeah.
And it was funny because in the video, the guy said all Madden pretty much does things to make it seem like they want you to lose.
Yeah,
And I'm
and
like,
and I
no.
compared it to quarter eating games back in the arcade days, where you're playing a video game, and I would use like Street Fighter Alpha 3, for example.
Sure.
And you're playing it, and then all of a sudden you're facing Chung Li. She's like the fifth person you have to fight, and she's in Zisms, which is like
Sure.
one red bar, and she just goes absolutely ballistic, and there's nothing you can do to really beat her. That's quarter eating, and that's essentially what all Madden is.
So, only it just so happened that it wasn't until maybe 3 weeks ago, I'm sitting here playing and I'm like, okay, I could kind of see what the AI is doing a little bit now, that I can play a little better. But now we're going into Madden 21, which of course comes out this week or early if you, oh, hello, that person, early if you pre-ordered it on Friday. But it's like they're going to be changing certain mechanics. So
Yep.
it's beneficial to those who don't like classic Madden. If you don't like classic Madden, the people who enjoyed classic live, the people who enjoyed, I think one person said they really enjoyed NHL like 2006 or 2014 or some, one of those older years. NCAA football, we talked about that yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
where really all they had to do was just stop making players in the likeness of the real players, and they could have just kept going. But it just turned into a ridiculous show of money and politics, and they just said, "Oh, forget it. We just won't do it." When they're playing they're paying the colleges anyway. All they had to do was just not use the player likenesses. I think that would have been completely fine.
I will agree with you.
Yeah, we could have just kept it rolling. They could have made a regular game, and it would have been all good. But I think the origin of EA, is really motivating. That's the part that's you're happy about. Like, here's a guy who wanted to automate and create a game with developers based on his love and understanding of football.
Yes.
I mean, you cannot. I mean, you could, but you can't teach that.
No.
I was really happy to hear him say, like, I love football, and the games that we had just didn't do it for me. So it's like, here's a problem, here's a solution. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to just create it myself.
Yes.
And then you go on from that, increasing the generations and, moving forward, Genesis, all these other things, PlayStation, to where here we are in the 2000s, and you have 24 games. And now here we are years later, and now we got 4, 5.
Just four. Just four.
Well, I think they do. So for sport titles,
Yes.
they do have some other things which is on EA Access that they don't really market as high. Obviously, they do The Sims and some other things, but I feel like these sport titles, the people that are behind these games, they don't have the love for sports that they should. And I think we talked about this with the ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that certain people shouldn't be so high, certain people shouldn't be so low. Obviously that doesn't affect us for EFL because we're looking for whoever's 75 and under.
Yep.
Which obviously there'll always be people who are 75 and under, or we'll just have to change it from 75 to whatever it is. But I don't know. I just thought that this documentary was really, really good. I hate to see certain games have fallen off so badly. But I mean, you can't blame anything but the new
People,
ownership
yeah.
or new leadership.
It's the brass. I watched now. I forgot the top of my head. It's a game. It's another game, and they were talking about how a lot of the developers get a lot of flack because the game, stinks. Like it's pretty bad.
Sure.
But when they had a chance to speak to developers, like the developers talking about how much they really it was actually in this video, in fact. Where they were like, the developers really speak about how passionate they are and they really want to produce a great game. But unfortunately, what deterred them from creating a good product for, of course, we the consumers, is the people who are making the business decisions.
No, right. I did see that part.
And all they're told to do is, code it this way and then push it out. And then, maybe we'll see about fixing it later, which is what I was talking about when we talked about Madden, weeks back from the show, where it just seemed like they just continually just push out unfinished products.
Which I can understand that, and I think the ideas behind certain things, and obviously the new thing that's coming this year is this whole NFL. I guess it's going to be like an NFL Street kind of thing, like NFL Blitz kind of thing, where they're going to be. It's pretty much moving away from real football to an arcade style, which would, of course, coincide with what 2K does with the park. Which I told my brother, it's like at this point, like we shouldn't even be looking to play real basketball. We should just play in the park all day. We shouldn't even worry about playing in the rec center with 5 people. Me and him should just play 2-on-2,
pretty much,
and just call it a day, and go from there. But yeah, I think it's just one of them things where you're gonna have to, buy these games with a grain of salt. Luckily, it's not like you can't go back and play the old titles, update the rosters, the way you like them. I still hook up my Xbox 360 from time to time and put my NCAA in. I definitely appreciate the people online who still update the rosters to be current. I appreciate that because 2014 obviously was one of the last years. I think 2015 was the last year with RG3 on the cover. But it was one of the last games to really, really be good.
Yes.
Like, it was really, really good. And I don't know how we can get back there. It seems so far. It seems so long ago. 6 years ago. 2014. 6 years ago, the last NCAA game came out. And its playability is still good. From living your dream and playing in college football to being a coach in college football. And like I told you, being able to start as an offensive or defensive coordinator and then work your way up to being head coach or going right in as a head coach, it's just fun, like it's a fun experience. Even in March Madness, which they didn't even talk about.
Nope.
They didn't even mention March Madness because March Madness ended a decade prior.
Yeah.
Because of people suing March Madness, I believe the last one was in 2010. I think that's the one with Blake Griffin, if I'm not mistaken, because I have 2009. And even that game, being a coach, recruiting, going through and trying to sign players, doing visits, like going into the mindset of being a college coach and having to do certain things. Like these were the things that made it fun. It didn't matter.
So the last March Madness game was 08.
08, so I have 07.
And then they did a NCAA basketball for 09, and then they did the last one, which is NCAA basketball 10, which is Blake Griffin.
NCAA
basketball 10, yes. So that's Blake Griffin. Before that is Kevin Love. 2008 March Madness is Kevin Durant.
I have the one with Kevin Love. So they changed it from
March Madness to just NCAA basketball. Yep.
Gotcha. So, which didn't make any sense. I don't know why they changed the name. But yeah, the one that I play is 2009. Now, I want you to guess, sir, how much a NCAA 2010 go for right now without looking.
Oh, I know it's going to cost a heck of a lot of money.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It is almost $50 to $60 depending on the season.
I am surprised it's that low. And this is why I say that.
No, I agree.
This is why I say that. So Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on Dreamcast. Excellent game. Great game. Mm-hmm. I believe on Amazon runs for about $100 something to about $3,000 on Amazon. eBay, I believe people are really trying to get that money.
So I will say this. For PlayStation 3, it looks like NCAA 2010 is, I see one for $75 and I see one for $110.
Mm-hmm.
But this one here says like new.
There's not going to be any that's brand new. You're not going to find that.
Yeah, but 2009, which I kind of enjoyed 2009. That's why I purchased it. It was only like $20, so I thought 2009 was okay. I didn't have a problem with it. But yeah, 2010, it being the last one, and I think the controls were really good on 2010. But I really did enjoy 2009. But just thinking back, like instead of canceling a whole franchise of games, putting people out of work, moving people around, just change the dynamic. Maybe you don't think about back in the day, and you're going to remember this, and you're going to probably laugh, but did you really care that it was player number 23 or number 99 or 34?
No.
For an NBA Live when they couldn't get Kobe, they couldn't get Jordan.
Yep,
Shaq,
Jordan, Shaq, Pippen, all those cats. Yep.
Yeah, we didn't care. We knew who player number 99 was.
Yeah,
we knew who player number 34 was. Like, come on. So to me, it's like, why not just do that? Like, it doesn't have to be their likeness. You just change a feature. Instead of Shaq being 7 foot, maybe you make him 6'11", or maybe you make him 7'1". It didn't have to be like this.
It didn't, but it got to that point, and we lost it now.
And we lost it.
But here's the thing, though. I'm happy that it's gone because you would have loved it because of what it was instead of what it could have been.
That's true. It could have been
what Madden is today, and in fact, probably worse.
I just don't know. I don't know. I think it would have been hard for them to mess up.
Like think about it like this. You're only allowed to use D3 schools, which you probably would like, but not anyone else.
I would love that.
But you have to unlock D2.
Oh yeah.
AA1 and then D1. Like you have to unlock these things.
Yeah, you have to pay for the special.
Yes.
But that is a great idea, though. I think.
Oh, and anyone from EA is listening right now, you better pay us for that idea because we will sue.
Would love that. And I always thought, and this is going to sound crazy, but I always thought a high school game would have been awesome. Even as a kid,
that's going to be a lot more iffy.
But you think about it, like you take the top 10 to 20 high schools, maybe
Mm-hmm.
not the top 10, maybe take the top 5 high schools from like certain regions, and you just put them in a game, like, and then you have to like recruit elementary kids pretty much. Like, I think that would be so crazy.
While I can agree with that, I feel like that's going to open up a huge can of worms.
Those worms would be so huge. Oh my God. But I like the idea of the D3 schools. I think there are enough D3 or D2
It's a
schools
lot of schools.
to
It's a
where
lot of schools. There's 180 something D1 schools currently.
I think that would be cool.
No, 300 something Division 1 schools, something like that.
Throw the HBCUs in there. I think it would be pretty awesome. I don't think they would care if their likeness is in the game.
Who, the high school kids?
No, the D3 kids. I don't think they would care as much. Yeah, put my likeness in there. They're going to put themselves in the game anyway.
True.
So, yeah, put my likeness in there. I think that would be great. But they could have came up with something better than just getting.
And they could have. They really could have. Although right now I'm looking at this article that's showing all the D1 schools. They don't have a number, but we do see.
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
I don't see our alma mater though.
Well, St. Peter's is D1. That's why.
Yeah, D1. That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, you're looking at D1.
I'm looking at D1. I'm looking for St. Peter's, but I don't see it.
How are we D1?
Oh, because that's New York. And all those other schools are freaking New York. And there it is. Okay. I'm like, don't you try to play us out. Okay, but folks, because we're going to keep going on and on about these video game stuff, and I'm going to start looking up stats. We'll be right back with more debate amongst friends right after this.
And we are back, and I got a question for you, Prof.
So,
what time is it?
Game time, who?
Dame time.
Dame time, who?
Damian Lillard, who just so happened, and I hope it's not a final thought for you, just so happened to be pretty much the unanimous bubble MVP.
Which is still a stupid concept. It's a stupid concept.
Let me tell you why it's not stupid, because if it wasn't a bubble MVP, they would have given it to LeBron.
They're going to give him the MVP anyway.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be the forerunners, Giannis or James Harden, like it was. I don't think LeBron was up there, because I don't even remember LeBron playing. But we'll get to LeBron. They haven't played a game in the playoffs yet. Let's see what happens. But right now, we just got past the play-in game. Trailblazers beat the Grizzlies in a thrilling fashion, 126 to 122. They were really going at it. Obviously, the Grizzlies were playing do or die. Ja Morant came out. I really like the play from Dylan Brooks. I think he's going to be a really, really big player in this league.
Absolutely.
Obviously, they have some young pieces there that I think they can really build something there, maybe get a piece or two in the draft or in free agency. And I think they're going to be pretty solid. But what we're getting from the Trail Blazers is amazing. What not only Dame Lillard, but I think people are sleeping on CJ McCollum.
And Nurkic as well too, who's been playing with a heavy heart this past week as well. They're playing some inspired basketball. I feel bad because they've been this good before. We're talking about a team that was in the Western Conference Finals.
They were.
Last year.
You also have Carmelo, who's getting the disrespect removed from his name.
I'm so happy about I'm happy for Melo, by the way. And I've been saying this for a while. I have not changed that stance. I would have been very happy to see Melo get his first ring. I'm not saying that the Trailblazers is going to win, but I'm very happy for the success that he's having. He's gelling great. He spoke nothing but high praise for Dame Lillard as well too. This team is really, really good. Offensively, they are really, really good. It was to the point to where the Memphis Grizzlies had to resort to a box zone to try to contain Dame, and that didn't even help. CJ McCollum with a daggered three, very clutch shot towards the end of the game as well too. But I mean, it's going to be great to see what they do as they proceed in their first round game against the Lakers, whom everyone is just saying that the Lakers are just going to steamroll them. But as we've seen now,
well, let's hold on. Let's not get to that yet. Unless you want to go preview first.
Let's go preview.
Okay.
Let's go preview.
So we can't go to that. All right. So I personally think the Trailblazers and Lakers matchup is so big. And the only reason I say that is because you're going to have Nurkic versus Anthony Davis. But then when Anthony, when Nurkic goes out, you got Hassan Whiteside coming in. And I know that they have Dwight Howard, but Dwight's not an offensive threat. We all know this.
No.
I mean, he's not. He might catch a couple alley-oops, but he's not doing anything.
He's not the defensive threat he used to be either.
I don't think he is either. But I think this is going to be a really, really good matchup. And I don't know if, even though I know I said earlier that, the Bucks would, destroy the Magic, which we'll get into, like they should be looking past the Magic. I don't think Laker fans, obviously, not just because of Dame, but because of the Trailblazers as a whole, should look past Trailblazers at all. Like, this is an NBA final worthy game had one of these teams been on the other side.
I would say this can potentially be Mavs versus Warriors. Back when the Mavs were the 1 seed and the Warriors were the 8 seed. Like, people sleeping on this team so much that all of a sudden it's 3-0 and the Lakers are down.
I don't think nobody's sleeping on them though right now.
Now they're not.
Yeah, I think and I think I said that a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
when I said if the Grizzlies got in, the Lakers would be probably happy with the Grizzlies beating the Trailblazers. But with the Trailblazers, the way Dame is playing, CJ, Carmelo, and these guys are playing, as well as Gary Trent.
Yep, Gary Trent.
And I didn't even realize, or at least I forgot, that Mario Hezonja was on the bench.
A former Knick, who I really liked.
Yeah, he was really, really good. And I mean, you never know. He might come in and just catch fire. But I just feel like this is going to be one of those series that really, really pushes the Lakers to either greatness or you are who we thought you were.
Exactly. You want me to tell you it was really funny, though? Because I had a chance to listen to a soundbite from First Take. This is going to be real funny. Stephen A. Smith essentially tried to shift the pressure responsibilities away from LeBron and squarely on Anthony Davis. So if they just so happen to not win the championship, guess who he would try to shift the blame to?
Well, of course. I mean, that's not funny. That's just facts. I think that's always how it's been. I think that's why Kyrie left. That's why. That's what it is. I mean, that's not funny at all. I hate that, actually.
Yes.
That's just the way it is.
Oh,
it's the LeBron effect, and I guess he's trying to say what Anthony Davis has to be hungrier than LeBron.
Don't know.
I mean,
don't know.
Is that
don't know because I mean, throughout the regular season, Anthony Davis shown that he was really, really hungry.
He was hungry. I thought.
In fact, I would probably put Anthony Davis in the MVP conversation over LeBron.
I would too.
But that's here or there. I'm not going to go there.
Another story. So the other game won tonight, obviously, my Houston Rockets, which should have started probably. Well, I guess
it's about to start.
The Heat and Pacers just ended. So the Rockets and Thunder game 1. Obviously, no Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Chris Paul. It's going to be an interesting series. I hate playing the Thunder just as much as I hate playing the Trailblazers.
Yep.
I feel like it's always the same series. But this year, with us playing this small ball lineup that we got going on, I'm a little worried, of course, because Steven Adams is probably going to destroy us. But I'll be honest with you. This is the first time I don't see us winning this series. I don't think we're going to be proceeding forward. I think as much as I love the small ball, I feel like eventually it's going to weigh. It's going to the toll is going to weigh on us too much, and I just don't. I don't know. I would be surprised if we won the series. I'll say that. And that's
I understand that. I will say this: if Westbrook comes back during this series, around Game 3, maybe Game 4, that could help shift everything for the series. I'm not as confident, just the same as you and your Rockets as well, because they are essentially playing Don Nelson ball to the extreme, living and dying by that three. And if it's not dropping, and no stupid 24 misses jokes at all.
Yeah, over 29. Yep.
But if they're not hitting the shots and James Harden isn't causing havoc in the paint, this is going to be a very bad series for them.
So I mean,
I feel like the only way that they can actually put in work is if Westbrook comes back sooner than later.
And we're going to talk about quad injuries later. And I recovered from a quad injury, and I know it's just a strain on Westbrook's part, but if that strain turns into a rupture, which of course you don't want. I mean, anything could happen. I hate that this happens. I hate that this happens to James Harden, which seems like every year now. His co-partner gets hurt some form or fashion.
And they put all the blame on him too, which is unfair.
Which is unfair because he's carrying the team. He's leading the team in usage. We talked about this. All people hated the usage. People love the usage. They hate the way he plays. They love the way he plays.
People just complain for the sake of complaining.
He's scoring. He's exciting to watch. It's not his fault that he can hit threes in a unorthodox fashion. I think what he's done in the game is amazing, and that's him being on or off the Rockets. I think what he's done has been truly amazing. I just think that this team, the way it's constructed, and I believe that this might be because this is Mike D'Antoni's potential last year, that they might not have made the necessary moves, but Mike probably just said, you know what, if I'm going to go out,
I'm going to go out swinging. Just chuck up threes whenever you can.
Chuck it up, 7 seconds or less. Whatever you want to do, I'm with it. And he's going to do it. So I'm interested to see what happens. But I'm really, really not the most confident, even though I know we have an MVP candidate. James really plays hard. But unless they go and bring somebody up from wherever, I just don't see it happening.
You guys still have Tyson Chandler.
They don't play Tyson for some reason. It's so weird. We have Tyson Chandler. I know we have we had a few other players. But I'm actually looking forward to seeing if he plays the Cephalosas, the Lupa Mutes, the DeMar Carrolls. Like, this is the time to bring those guys out because, those are the gritty players that we might be able to play with. I want to see Chris Clemens. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see Chris Clemens, who's like one of the top scoring guards in basketball history, in college basketball history. So I want to see Chris Clemens play. But it just depends on what Mike D'Antoni decides to do, and that's why I'm not 100% sure what we're gonna do. But I don't want to spend too much time on my Rockets. I definitely want to keep going. We had some game ones today. The aforementioned quote unquote upset of the number one Milwaukee Bucks, which I made the joke that they were gonna nuck if you buck on the Magic. Which I got a few laughs out of that one, but obviously the Magic winning, and I told you this earlier, they probably felt like a home game for them
because it was a home game. Yeah,
they're home. The same for the Heat, which we'll go into. This is Florida. They didn't, this is home for them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So the Magic beat the Bucks 122-110. Giannis had a double-double in the first half. This is no fault of his own. He played very well. It seemed like the whole team played well. I just think that the Magic had their ticket tonight.
Yeah, and essentially that's pretty much what happens. Like, the Magic heard everyone talking about, man, they're about to get shellacked. They're about to get destroyed. They're about to get defeated free.
Super free.
And if I'm a basketball club, if I'm a head coach, I'm going to put down a bulletin board. You know, we talk about this all the time with football. That's why you always watch what you have to say.
Any given day, anybody can win or lose. It just depends how you show up.
Exactly.
It's not that these aren't NBA players, and I think that's where it comes in. Like, people think that certain people are trash because they're not the top stars, but it's like, at the end of the day, these are NBA players. These are some of the best of the best. Although some aren't as good as others, in a wreck, they will wreck you.
They will destroy you horribly.
Yeah, so I always found that to be interesting. Like, in the NBA, some players who seem average can come in and really dominate you in the wreck. So we got to watch our mouths.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Bucks right now. It's just game one.
I'm not
come
either.
on.
I'm not either. So the Heat just beat the Pacers 113-101.
Yes.
I think that's going to really be a really good series. Both teams have really, really solid players. I mean, there's really nothing more I can say about that. It's 1-0. Let's see what happens next game. We know Jimmy Butler is pretty good. Obviously, Dragic had a great game. Tyler Hero had a pretty solid game.
Tyler Hero, who should be in Rookie of the Year conversation.
Mm-hmm. It seems like Bam Adebayo kind of had his way with Miles Turner a little bit.
Yeah, which I would expect that to happen.
Yeah, but hopefully Miles Turner can turn it around and play well. So game 2. Indiana is always one of those teams. But it also looks like Oladipo only played 9 minutes.
Yeah, well, Oladipo is still recovering. So
let's just give them some time.
Yeah.
Let's give them some time. So it looks like earlier today, nope, that's it for today. So yesterday, we had 4 games.
Correct.
Overtime win for the Nuggets over the Jazz. Obviously, the Jazz have their big 3. I guess considered almost a 4 if you had Jordan Clarkson in there, but the big number is 57. Number of points Donovan Mitchell put up on quote unquote Jamal Murray, who dropped 36 of his own. So it's not like
this is another one of those. Okay, we're just using these things to try to create a story out of it. Like, it was a fun game to watch. And Donovan Mitchell had to put the team on his back to help them get back into the game because it looked like, Denver was about to break this game open soon. All it took was like another shot. But then Denver went on a scoring slump. The Jazz was just scoring. And it went back and forth. We went into overtime. And Jamal Murray is a bad man. But the story after that is just, you did a great job, but Spider dropped 57 on your team. Like, that's stupid.
It is pretty stupid. Especially, it's like, who cares?
Exactly. Like, did he win though? Did he win?
Exactly.
Next question.
Exactly. Next game. The Raptors beat the Nets 134-110. I personally feel like the Nets put all of their game 1 energy into beating the Trailblazers.
Yes. I feel like this is another situation of the media not giving a team enough credit. And you heard me talk about this all year long. They didn't give the Raptors any credit. They said, Kawhi is gone. They're gonna suck.
No, come on.
That's what they said. We can go to the tapes.
Granted. Although I like him as a player, I would have never guessed that Fred VanVleet would put up 30 on any team this season.
I wanted Fred VanVleet to be a Knick. I have been on record saying this. I have watched those Wichita State games. I know how good he is.
I remember. I just, with the talent around him, I would have never expected him to be the guy to score 30. That's all I'm saying. Not that he can't score 30. I was just surprised that he was the one who scored 30. And that's why I think this game, I think game 2 might be a little closer.
It's going to be a lot closer for game 2. Yeah. It gives the Nets a chance to try to, regather themselves. As you mentioned, they were trying to end the Blazers series playoff dreams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're not going to go out with a whimper.
I don't think so.
And and with each game that the Raptors are playing, they're slowly but surely getting the basketball world's respect again, which is sad.
True. But you want to know something? I'm so glad you said the word whimper. I felt in the fourth quarter of the next game between the Celtics and 76ers, I thought I saw for a glimmer of a second Joel Embiid pouting as if he was going to cry like he did when Kawhi hit the shot last season. And this is just game 1. Like, I was like, is he about to cry right now after game 1?
So, this is what because someone asked me, in fact, PJ Brown, actually, one of our people from St. Peter, shout out to him, put up a picture of the matchups for the playoffs, and he gave his predictions. And I told him, he actually agreed with me. I said, this is going to be a close series, but not for the right reasons. Because both teams have potential, and both teams have the ability to become overrated after the series is over.
I can agree with that. How apropos that Al Horford left the Celtics to go to the 76ers. If they were to lose the series, it's like, obviously
is called irony.
Yeah, and a little bit of karma in there. But Joel Embiid did his thing, 26.16 rebounds. Obviously, his contract isn't up for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's not.
I could see him leaving Philly or trying to get out of Philly.
They're going to give him too much money. He's not going to leave.
I could see him leaving.
I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
With the pouting, I could see it. I could see it happening. But the last game here, the controversial one.
Oh boy.
The Clippers and the Mavericks, which started kind of the same way it ended, in my opinion. But obviously, one of the stories, Luka Doncic scored the most points in a debut for the playoffs by any player. 42 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds.
Really good company.
Yeah, Porzingis, who was later on tossed out of the game, 14 points, 6 rebounds. And that seemed to have been the major storyline. That I think they're calling it the asterisk, the what if Porzingis was still in the game kind of thing. I think I saw out there.
Doc, what was the final score?
118 to 110.
Did the Mavericks win?
They did not.
Did they have another quarter after KP was tossed to win the game?
Yeah, because it looks like
did they not have a break between the quarters to try to regather themselves?
No, without question.
Then what are we talking about?
We're talking about playoff basketball and trying to discredit the Clippers.
Thank you. And that's exactly what I've been saying. You heard me say this. I've been saying that for the longest.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. And it just didn't work. I mean, even though I didn't like the way the Clippers played a lot of the game.
Yeah, they had some really bad moments. I mean,
outside of the first 2 to 3 minutes.
The fact that they played Montrezl Harrell 15 minutes, and he just looked like he was just.
What is his first game back?
Yeah, exactly. So 15 minutes, I probably wouldn't do 15. I probably would have did 6-7 minutes to get, because he didn't have his basketball legs again.
He really didn't.
He really didn't.
It looked like a lot of people were struggling, a lot of missed shots, a lot of bad shots.
Yeah.
Really, really.
And they're going to get it together. I'm not worried about it. But the fact that the media is trying to start to discredit. And what was the one thing I said about this playoffs? What did I say? What is the one thing I said?
It's all about the say that a lot.
I said if the Lakers win, they're not going to add an asterisk to it. If anyone else but the Lakers win, it's going to be an asterisk. And if by some reason the Clippers win, they're going to get the biggest asterisk.
That's so funny. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I mean, obviously, game 2 is tomorrow, which I like the way they're doing this. It's so fast.
Yes.
A lot of people are like, I get to watch 3 to 4 basketball games a day.
I love it. I love it.
This is going to go so fast. And I think the way it's slated, it's like they might be able to get this season over with, have a break, and
then start the next season. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
Which honestly, I'm okay. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I'm okay if all of sports shifts to where basketball doesn't coincide with football.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't coincide with hockey. Doesn't coincide with baseball.
Well, baseball's a little bit harder because it's a longer season.
Right, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay if basketball starts at a different time period in the year. Like, give these guys a break. After this bubble stuff right here, give these guys a real break. Don't make them come right back out and start a whole another season. Give those guys a break, man. Come on, man. But you want to go over some quick predictions?
Yeah, let's predict some of these series real quickly. We have about 6 minutes left, so let's do this.
All right, so let's go from the top here. Jazz Nuggets. I'm going to stick with the Nuggets.
I'm going to stick with the Nuggets as well, too. As much as I like the Jazz and what they've been able to do, it's just something about their pace of play that can definitely hurt them. And even though they brought into overtime against the Nuggets, scoring is still one of their biggest issues.
I feel like the Nuggets just have it together. Their core pieces, they've been playing together for a while, and I just think the Joker is going to be the major difference over Gobert, the coronavirus king.
Oh.
Raptors, Nets, sir.
Raptors. I think the Raptors could win in 5. I think the Nets are definitely going to get one game in, but this is going to be a really fun series to watch, and this should start giving the Raptors some credit again. Even though I'm not going to go there. So let's go to the next series because
I hate that next season we're going to get a completely different Nets team. I'm not feeling Kyrie, KD, and LeVert. I feel like they're going to collapse.
And DeAndre.
I think that's just too much, but we'll see how it works next season. But of course, I'm going Raptors in 5 as well. Next series here: 76ers versus Celtics.
Celtics.
Yeah,
no explanation after that. Celtics. Yeah, this will be the end of the process.
I don't know if I would go that far.
This will be the end of the process.
I feel like they ended the process after Markelle Fultz, but I don't think
I would have ended the process too after that. I'm joking. Markelle Fultz definitely resurrected his career, so I'm really happy for him.
Without question. Then we got the Mavericks versus the Clippers.
Clippers in 6.
Clippers in 6. I'm interested to see what KP does the next time he plays, if he goes off. Like, if he has the ability to go off, because I know he's dealing with some injuries. But Clippers in 6 does sound pretty good. Magic versus Bucks.
Bucks in 5.
I'm going to say Bucks in 6. I think the Magic might steal one more. I would even say, hey, maybe the Magic can push it to 7. I wouldn't be surprised. They were able to do well without Fournier playing well. I'm actually okay with that. Heat versus Pacers.
Heat. Victor Oladipo isn't Victor Oladipo from last year, unfortunately, and TJ Warren isn't there yet.
And the Heat has turned it up.
The Heat turned up the heat.
They're locked in. I don't see it. I don't see that happening either. I'm going to go Heat. I might actually go Heat with the sweep.
I'm going to go Heat in I'll say 5. I'll say 5.
That's taking a safe bet. I'm going with the sweep. Okay, last 2 here. We got Thunder and the Rockets.
Thunder.
I hate it. I hate
Thunder in 6. Thunder James Harden will 2 games.
I can agree with
if
that.
Westbrook comes back, then Thunder is 7. Westbrook's not going to go out like a punk.
And the last series here, Trailblazers and the Lakers.
Trailblazers in 7.
I want to see that. I really do. I would love to see that. I'm gonna go Lakers in 6. I think Anthony Davis somehow is gonna will the Lakers to win. I don't know if it's gonna be LeBron. I don't think it's gonna be LeBron. I think it is gonna be on Anthony Davis' shoulders.
I want the Blazers to win. The referee's not going to allow the Lakers to lose. You heard me say this now. That's exactly what's going to happen, and you're going to watch the games, and I'm going to be right. But my prediction is still Blazers in 7.
Yeah, I'm going to see what happens here. I don't think it's going to matter, but I do hope that the Trailblazers win, but I think the Lakers are going to win in 6. And that is how the cookie crumbles with the NBA playoffs.
And we'll be right back with the 2-minute drill.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of every show, we like to do what's called the 2-minute drill, where we go over stories and headlines that we didn't get a chance to cover during the show. This week, we had the unfortunate injury to defensive tackle from the Dallas Cowboys, Gerald McCoy, as he ruptured his right quad tendon. Prof?
And dollar bills, y'all. The top 2 tight end in the NFL got paid. George Kittle reached a 5-year, $75 million extension with the San Francisco 49ers, and NFL Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs gave tight end Travis Kelce a 4-year, $57.25 million extension as well. Back to you, Doc.
Also didn't mention Gerald McCoy was actually released or placed on the IR list today as well.
He was cut.
He was cut. Perfect. Here we go. Moving on. LA Chargers. Pass rusher Melvin Ingram plans to hold out unless a new deal is brought to the table. Prof?
And finally for me, future Hall of Famer of the UFC, Daniel Cormier, announced his retirement following his championship fight at UFC 252.
And lastly here, 2 coaches are already removed from the NBA coaching pool here, as Alvin Gentry and Jim Boylan are no longer with their respective teams, Chicago and New Orleans. Those teams will be looking for new coaches soon. But that is all we have for today's show. Be sure to tune in next week for more news, more debate, and more reads.
Thank you for listening to Debate Amongst Friends. Give us a follow on our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You can also listen to all of our Debate Amongst Friends podcasts here on Anchor, as well as Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and iTunes.
And like we always say, goodbye, mwah, and to all, a good night. LASG.